Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Friend. I've just flown in. And today we are back with more Seduce Me to the Demon Wars. Last time we started Erik's path, and we met a creepy purple orb that may or may not be a ghost child. We'll see. Erik had a bachelor party and left me. They came back, and then I had a nightmare. Yay! So let's press on, shall we? It was as if I didn't want him to be in my dreams. Yeah, because if you remember the line we ended on last time, his comfort didn't make us feel okay. So, what exactly did you do at your party, sweetie? Am I picking up on some weird perfume that's not mine? My heart knew this was a problem, but I was unsure of how to respond to this new feeling. Slowly, as the days passed by and our wedding approached, the feeling became more aggressive. Soon I was becoming irritated more easily. Oh, sweetie, you're just coming up on your period. You'll be fine. I became angry at the smallest things. The steps he took, the things he'd wear, the looks he gave me, or what I assumed he gave me. Again, this feels a lot like pre-period stuff. No, Erik, I don't want to do anything right now.
Love, I didn't say any.
You're looking at me with those sex eyes again. Hey, those eyes are exactly the eyes I'm romancing him, darn it.
Sex eyes?
I agree.
I swear, I wasn't doing anything of the sort.
Debatable, sweetie, knowing you. You're doing it now. If that is her idea of sex eyes, the sad kick puppy look, I have questions about what is our life like. I couldn't control the words that were flying out of my mouth. Something was wrong, but I continued to speak cruelly towards Erik. My heart was at odds with my mind, and I didn't know why. I was doing it, but I continued my barrage.
Love, what is going on?
I think I'm having a breakdown. What's going on? You are what's...
I'm sorry.
Also, his eyes just went gold. That can't be good. I felt Erik's enthrallment take over my body, forcing me to go weak in the knees and mewl out in surprise. My mind stopped thinking about attacking Erik, and my heart felt entirely relieved that the urge was gone. Erik gently wrapped his arms around me, being sure to keep his arms around my shoulders, and rocked with me, trying to calm me down.
Love, are you having doubts?
No. No. No, I'm not. I don't know what
You swear you're not having doubts about us?
Never. I promise. I was able to speak the truth under his spell. It was strange. It was like I was under a curse when I wasn't under his enthrallment. Somehow, despising every little thing Erik did. Yet I knew it wasn't true. I'd loved everything about him, but my mind wouldn't agree. I gripped Erik's shirt, wanting to stay close and show my true feelings for him.
Listen to me, okay? I love you so much.
Aww.
If you have any doubts on us getting married, then please just tell me. I don't know what's going on in your beautiful head.
I love this side of him when he's open and vulnerable. I love you too. I really, really do. I don't know what's happening to me. It made no sense. Why did I despise Erik, yet love him? My mind, heart, and body were at odds with each other, and I wasn't sure what to do. This went on all the way until our wedding day. Somehow, Erik managed to deal with me the entire time, enthralling me when things became rough to keep me at calm. The other incubi tried to decipher what was going on with me, but none of them could figure it out. Really? They did not have sex ed in the demon world? I was going to marry Erik, and then I was going to figure out what was wrong with me. Maybe, switch the order. What's wrong? And then marry the guy. After after, you're working on it or it's solved. I knew I still loved him with every inch of my heart, mind, body, and soul, so feeling disdain like this was not natural for me. I had asked Erik to place me under enthrallment for our wedding, in case I lashed out again. He reluctantly agreed and stayed with me the morning of our wedding day. I was supposed to dress alone and be by myself. Ha ha ha! What happened to Zuzu and Naomi? Why are they not here sharing in my day, helping me get ready? I call shenanigans at this. Do I have no other female friends? But I needed Erik to keep me in check. I felt ridiculously warm and fuzzy as I stood in the bathroom, having to come out of a hot shower with Erik. We didn't do anything together, but he remained close enough to keep me enthralled, and remain energized enough to maintain the enthrallment. Erik gently ran my brush through my strands of my hair. If it's wet, you should dry it first. Being as sweet and caring as he always was towards me. Because in the enthrallment, I felt each stroke and derived so much pleasure from his brushing. It was hard not to moan.
Well, love, today's the big day.
Today's the day. Yeah, I'm so happy.
I truly hope so. I'm the happiest man alive to be able to soon call you my wife.
Aww. I want to be your wife. I want you to be my husband. I felt like crying. Why did I have to be enthralled to say such things? I really loved him, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to say it without him casting his spell over me. Erik looked at me through the bathroom mirror and gently smiled, believing me and placing a small kiss on my cheek.
By the way, are you using a new soap?
Aw, look at us together. So cute. Also, I should totally be redhead in this verse. Huh? I looked at Erik, unsure of what he meant. I'd used the same soap I'd always used, so my scent shouldn't have been different. Uh-huh. Hint, hint, hint. Erik tilted his head and gently inhaled again before smiling a little wider.
You smell different. I kind of like it.
Aww. You don't say. I blushed, not because of the enthrallment, but because I didn't know I had smelled different. Was something off about me? I couldn't have been drastic, right? Sweetie, do not introduce new unknowns right now. Erik finished brushing my hair and smiled, kissing my head.
All right, time for you to get into your dress.
Yay!
I'm afraid that I can't join in dressing you as much as I want to. Can't see the bride in her gown before the wedding.
I mean, really?
I also have to get to the ceremony venue to get my tuxedo. However, my
true.
enthrallment should stay on you until you arrive.
Okay. Thank you, sweetie. See you soon. I tried to fight back, but Erik held up his finger.
No. I promise that everything will be okay. As soon as I see you, I'll enthrall you again, and we can go through the ceremony as planned. Okay?
You make it sound so perfectly reasonable. As much as I wanted to fight it, I was thankful that Erik was willing to go through all of this to make sure that I wouldn't throw a fit, despite me not wanting to go in the first place. I agreed and earned a small kiss from him, which I relished.
All right. I love you. I'll see you soon.
Soon. I nodded, smiling back at him before he slipped on his regular clothes and left the mansion. I felt the enthrallment on me ebb and flow through my body, so I needed to hurry and get ready before it wore off. Said no bride ever. I got dressed in the wedding dress of my dreams and smiled as I prepared my hair and jewelry. I really did look like the perfect bride, ready for her big day. I kind of wish you could see a picture of this. Why I was acting out against it, I would never know. But I was going to fix this after saying I do. Yeah. Although usually, if you're going to get married, fix the issues before you say I do, because I promise you, they're not going to go away and they're not going to self-fix. As I stared at myself, I could see a small glow about my body. Was it Erik's spell? I giggled, wrapping my arms around myself and enjoying the feel his spell had on me.
I knew it. I knew it. That girl has demon magic.
Hello? What the?
Then quit talking and let's take her.
No. No, I got stuff to do.
The demon lord will be so
Oh.
pleased.
I mean, if I can go to the demon world and kick their dad's ass, I am down for this plan. Who? Before I could turn to search for the voices, I felt hands grab hold of my feet, and I looked down and lifted my dress. Haha, creepy. 2 pairs of evil-looking hands had taken hold of my ankles, reaching through the dark red and purple pentagram. I shrieked, trying to pull my legs away, but couldn't stop them as they swiftly pulled me into the ground. I was pulled deeper into the darkness. I was no longer in my room. I was being dragged through the dark void, one that I couldn't escape. I reached out and clawed at the dark, trying to find something to grab onto. I tried to pull my legs away from the hands that were holding them, but couldn't pull free. What was going on? Why was this happening? Someone help me! As if someone had heard my screams, I suddenly felt the hands let go and disappear, leaving me to float in the darkness they left me in. I shut my eyes. Please let this be a dream. Please let this be a dream. I finally felt a surface under my feet, and I collapsed onto it, my body curling in on itself from the experience I had. I didn't dare tear my eyes away from my lap, not ready to get up just yet. The voice I heard, however, made my heart stop.
You! What are you doing here?
Hey! I know you! I looked up, finally having the courage to take in my surroundings. My heart stopped beating for a moment, seizing in my chest. Hi, everybody! How we doing? I looked up to see 5 figures, strangers, monsters, beings that I didn't recognize. They all looked down at me in surprise, as if I had dropped in at a very bad time. Only because I probably have. Hi! One man looked like an orc from a fantasy game without the tusks. He had broken horns and very frightening aura around him as he stared at me. The other male was lanky in comparison, more human-like, but I could almost feel power emanating from his regardless. One of the women, who was staring at me, had rabbit ears. Rabbit ears? They twitched on top of her head as she looked at me and gripped her staff. She seemed harmless, yet she had animal ears. Hey, look, don't make fun of people's kinks, all I'm saying. The one creature that I couldn't discern the sex of seemed more excited to see me than surprised. What freaked me out about them was that they had wings sticking out from their back. They were floating? The last woman, however, set off alarm bells in my head as I looked at her surprised face, her hair, her eyes. Hi, lady. How you been? Diana. Hi. As she stared, the woman turned her body towards me in recognition to the name I called her. It was her.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. Diana walked toward me and stared down at me. It was odd. She didn't look like a human, yet I wasn't afraid of her demon form as it towered over me. I was more in shock as to what was going on. Hey, you. I twitch. Can I just kill him now? No? Okay. Before Diana could speak further, most likely to repeat herself, a figure quickly stepped up and bowed to her, kneeling beside me.
My lady, please forgive me. I felt something moving between our worlds and assumed the Demon Lord was to blame, so I intercepted his summoning of this human.
Okay, thank you. Never mind the whole wanting to kill you, quack.
You. So I wasn't the only one who felt the change in the air.
Cool, so stuff's going on. Diana stared at the man kneeling beside me as I kept my eyes up at her. As she turned her gaze back to me, I gulped silently. What was she going to do with me? This all felt wrong. I was about to be married. I was about to live my happily ever after with the man I loved. Now I was in a place I didn't know, with Diana and a bunch of other creatures I didn't recognize. My instinct was to attack, cry, scream. I'm gonna stay still, because I don't want to be broken like a toothpick. I couldn't move. My mind was empty of emotions except for fear. Why was this happening? Where was I? Why was Diana here? Diana stared down at me before sighing and kneeling down to my level. As she settled onto her knees, I leaned away from her, unsure of what she'd do. Was she going to kiss me again and take my energy? Knowing her, maybe.
Can you tell me what happened?
We're being oddly reasonable for this verse. Ariel, ... I didn't want to speak. I felt no courage to. My mind was so wrapped around this chaos that I felt nothing but fear and anxiousness. This couldn't have been happening. I was dreaming. Diana, ...
Is she okay?
No, she's not.
I don't think so.
Thank you. I'm going to assume Bunny Girl.
This is a waste of our time. Just kill her or something.
Screw you, sir.
Yes, because that's a smart thing to do. Kill
Exactly.
someone who is clearly traumatized and has done nothing to deserve death. Brilliant idea. Bravo.
I know, right? We're gonna be friends. Diana, ... Diana continued to stare at me, waiting for me to answer. Why? She didn't cast a spell on me, nor did she attack me. She continued to wait and stare. Slowly, my mind began to sink into the situation. Diana was willing to listen. Was she willing to help? That was another question, but first, I had to answer her. My voice didn't want to answer still, so I forced myself to nod, wanting to answer her somehow. Diana smiled softly, which conflicted with my memories of her. She never smiled like that, yet she was now. Diana held out her hand, ushering me to take it.
Can you stand?
Maybe? I nodded again and took her hand, standing up at last. I looked around the other beings in the room. They all kept their gaze to me, unsure of what I would say or do. Diana, however, led the conversation.
First, can you tell me what happened to you?
Bad things. Bad things. I took a breath, recounting everything that happened. I was about to go to the church to be married, and then I was attacked by this darkness. A couple of hands grabbed my legs and pulled me into it, and then I fell here.
A shadow summoning?
Yeah, I know, right? Who does that? Diana turned to one of her beings, the lanky male, and glared.
One of yours couldn't have.
On my honor, it wasn't any of mine. We have nothing to gain from kidnapping a human. Nor do we know who this woman is, anyhow.
Awesome, thanks.
My lady, if I may, I clearly remember hearing imp demons in the void along with her. It must have been the Demon Lord's henchmen.
Oh, goody! My future father-in-law. Yay!
Those damnable creatures. That explains it.
Then explain it to me? Diana crossed her arms and looked to me again.
Well, dear, it seems that you were to be either a new harem girl for the Demon Lord to ravish, or
Ugh.
bait for the boys to return to their
I believe the
side.
second one.
Either way, I doubt you would have lived long had the Demon Lord gotten his hands on you.
Agreed. A violent shiver ran up my spine. Was it true? I would have died.
Wait a minute. This girl knows about the Demon Lord's heirs.
Yeah, they kind of crashed at my mansion for a while, and I'm kind of engaged to one. Note the dress. I'm actually supposed to be marrying him right now. Do keep up, sweetie.
Yes. Hilariously enough, she was set to marry one of them.
I know, right?
From her garb.
Thank you. Also, I'm a little surprised they would understand the concept of a wedding dress. Just saying, clothing seems to be optional, if not decorative, for some of you. As Diana motioned towards my dress, I realized how vulnerable I was and felt extremely self-conscious. I wrapped my arms around myself as Diana let out a sigh.
Well, since you do not belong here, the obvious thing to do is to send you home.
Thank you! Let's go. I couldn't help but stare wide-eyed at Diana. She was really going to send me home? Really? I couldn't believe my ears. You will really send me back?
Of course. It should be easy to do once everything is in order. It'll be like you never left the human world.
Oh, thank God, I have a wedding to get to. Wait, like I never left the human world? Sweetie, where do you think you are? Look around you. What do you mean by left the human world? I think just what it sounds like. Diana stared before chuckling softly and gesturing to the room and beings within it.
Dear, do you not realize where you are?
No.
You are in the demon world.
Of course! Obviously! Perfect! My mind went blank. It couldn't be. I couldn't be in the demon world. No way. No way in hell. No, hell's actually a little to the south. I felt myself back up against the wall behind me, suddenly afraid. I was in another world? How? That wasn't possible. Not really. You know the boys came from somewhere else. Diana stepped towards me, both of her hands softly trying to show me she meant no harm, as she positioned them in front of her body.
Do not panic. We will send you back now, so there's nothing to worry about.
Okay, cool.
How will you power the spell? Bringing someone here is no easy task, but sending someone back consumes much more energy.
Uh-huh, good to know.
I'll use what energy I have now and rest. We can organize the siege another time when I fully recover. It's not like the Demon Lord can escape the corner we've trapped him in, so we do have some time to spare.
What now?
You'd waste time and energy on this human.
Hey.
We must strike now while the Demon Lord is weakened.
You know, I'm okay with you going and kicking my father-in-law-to-be's ass. I'm just saying.
But the human doesn't belong here. She needs to go home.
Exactly.
Shall I prepare the return spell?
Do. I grant you permission to use my energy to power the spell.
With a nod, the lanky man held out his hand towards the wall. I looked over in the direction it was aimed at. Diana's shadow. I watched as Diana's shadow simply stood against the wall, mirroring the movements of the real succubus in the room. Before my eyes, the shadow began to morph and expand on the wall on its own. What now? I looked back to Diana to see her wrapping her arms around herself and curling her shoulders over, as if she was in pain. Her nails embedded themselves into her forearm, and I could barely make out a painful hiss escaping her clenched teeth. Was the spell hurting her that badly? Yes, I think it is. She does not dawn on me as someone that would show vulnerability that willingly. I turned back to the wall to see Diana's shadow shaking and vibrating, as if it was resisting the change the man was forcing onto it.
You will obey my command. Open the gates to the void, and allow passage to the world we seek.
Transitum per renani pector trenibris.
You Latin.
Piano io. Perception.
Upon Diana's final word, her shadow burst and expanded into an oval-shaped doorway. I stared wide-eyed at the passage before a hand placed itself on my shoulder, forcing me to look over. The one with the spear gently pressed my shoulder forward. I looked down at me with almost stern face.
You must leave now. The faster you leave, the quicker we can close the void.
Yes, sir.
Go! Go! Go get married!
Yes, exactly. I quickly nodded and lifted the bottom of my dress, stepping forward to make a run for the passageway. However, before I could bolt towards my freedom, a snarl echoed through the room.
How dare you interfere with my summoning!
Hi, father-in-law. How you been? Fuck you for kidnapping me. We're not Avar. Oops. At that very moment, Diana began to scream, arcing her spine and throwing her head back. Around her body were red-tinted bolts of lightning, flashing and shocking her form.
No!
Agreed.
Human! Use the passage! Now!
I don't think it's safe. You didn't have to tell me twice. I bolted toward the portal, diving forward as I neared it. But I was forced back by a burst of energy and a flash of red light. I fell to the floor, almost slamming my head onto the stone. Ew!
Human will never, ever leave this world alive!
Shows what you know.
You spineless worm!
Agreed.
Close the portal! The Demon Lord might get through!
Good idea.
But the human.
Yeah, the human.
Close it!
As commanded, the man pulled his hand back, visually forcing his arm back behind his body, and Diana's shadow quickly began to morph back into a simple shadow. The electricity around Diana faded away, and she began to tip forward. The man with the spear dropped his weapon and caught Diana in his arms, cradling her to his body as she panted and gasped for air. What's going on with you two?
I don't sense the Demon Lord anywhere.
Good to know, bunny girl. Thank you.
The worm has to scurry through the shadows to try and fight back. He'll be dead soon enough.
Good to know.
How is she, guard?
Oh, Diana. Diana seemed to look uninjured, but her body was twitching from the aftermath of the magical attack. Her visible eye was shut tight as she dug her fingers into the guard's jacket to cling to him. As her eye opened, I saw not a blood ruby red color, but I saw a cold and unfriendly golden color painted over her iris. Her mouth opened as she panted for air, and I could see hunger in her facial expression, but she continued to stare at the wall, not wanting to make eye contact with anyone.
There are no physical wounds, but she's been weakened. I must give her my energy so she can recover.
Yeah, okay, good luck with that. Bye. The man swiftly moved and hooked an arm underneath Diana's knees, lifting her up bridal style, which you might remember a phrase that was said a lot in the last game, as she clung to his jacket, shivering. The spear that had fallen to the floor faded into black and purple mist as he quickly left the room with her in his arms. My mind, however, began to panic. I couldn't go home? Why was I being forced to stay? Bigger problems! Damn the Demon Lord, this wasn't right.
There's an imp in the castle. That is the only way the Demon Lord could have been able to interfere.
So time to hunt and kill? Gotcha! Give me a bow.
You! Guards by the door! Hunt it down!
Can I help? I want to kill something right now. A pair of guards that were apparently by the door saluted the one commanding them and ran off. I felt out of place, alone, terrified as to what was going to happen. The Demon Lord wanted me here, and his words pounded at my mind. How was I going to get home? Would I ever be able to go home?
Hey.
Yes? I looked up to see the winged person hovering near me before they moved, and sat on their knees on the stone ground beside me.
We'll get you home, okay?
Thank you.
Diana just needs a little rest, okay?
Okay.
She needs more than rest. She needs to use a different spell to send her back. The Demon Lord will expect her to use the shadow spell again.
Good to know.
How about the normal way? I'm sure we can connect to a witch, or even the warlock she used before, to reopen a portal to the human world.
Okay. Except for, I think that human's kinda gone.
The warlock she used to get to the human world died, remember?
Yeah,
And he
idiot.
was the most powerful warlock in the human world. Practically a god himself.
Interesting.
What other human could be used to open a portal without another human dying?
Huh. Interesting. My lineage is full of quirks, isn't it?
It was merely a suggestion. The faster we get this human home, the faster we can move on and finish off the Demon Lord.
Or, I could help.
Well, what are we going to do with the human now?
I have a name,
We can give her a room to rest in. Humans need sleep after all. Maybe by the time she wakes up, we'll think of a solution.
So I get no say in this?
Come.
Alright. The woman with rabbit ears looked down at me and lowered her hand to me, inviting me to take it. She had a kind, but concerned expression on her face, so I trusted her. Yeah, I'm very easy to win over, apparently. I slowly took her hand and began to stand up, as the fairy figure brushed off the small patches of dust that had accumulated on my dress. My probably very expensive dress. I couldn't do anything. I was forced to listen to the bearings around me because there was nothing else I could do. Without them, I couldn't get home. My heart ached, but I had to accept my predicament. No, not really. No.
Here, I'll bring you to the open ambassador's room.
Cool.
You're free to rest there for now.
Awesome. But what about Diana? The floating person giggled softly as the woman with rabbit ears cleared her throat.
She'll be fine. She's being taken care of right now.
Uh-huh. One way to word that.
Why not just say she's getting
Thank you, sir. Thank you for spelling out the obvious.
And the brute strikes again with the lack of tasteful filtering between his brain and his mouth. You still have yet to prove me wrong about my expectations of you.
Aw. It's okay, shoujo anime boy.
Keep testing me, assassin. I'm not afraid to rip your spine out of your body and use it as a back scratcher.
No, he needs his spine.
You can very well try, brute.
Boys, you're both pretty. Well, let's be honest. Shadow here is way more anime boy pretty than you, but you're very bodybuilder pretty, you know? You're pretty in different ways.
Ugh! Would you both knock it off?
No, I want to see where this goes.
Come. Everything will be taken care of.
Thank you, bunny lady. Before I could protest, the woman led me out of the room and into the hall. I kept my eyes down, trying to take in more of the situation I was in. I was trapped in the demon world, and Diana was out of commission. The demon lord had plans for me, but what exactly was he aiming for? I could have been bait. I could have been revenge. I didn't know, nor could I figure it out now. At least I was safe. At least I hoped I was safe. The woman led me to a room that practically screamed medieval fantasy. Yes, but my prince isn't here, so how much of a fantasy is it really? Everything was clean, but it still had the old age feel, as if no one had ever stepped foot into the room until that moment.
Rest here for now. When Diana is well again, we can discuss what to do.
Okay. Thank you. I nodded to the woman before she gently curtsied and left, closing the door behind her. I took a moment to observe my surroundings, interested in understanding the aesthetic. This was fantasy turned into reality. It was like I had gone back in time. And luckily, I am one of the rich people, because being a servant back in time friggin' sucked. Why, though? Was the demon world really that behind the times? Or did magic supersede technology and this was the result? Despite the situation I was in, which was beyond heartbreaking and terrible, my curiosity began to fester in my mind, as if I was given a golden opportunity to learn something new. Yay, learning! I like learning. However, my thoughts began to drift, and I felt myself becoming weak and dizzy, no doubt from the shock and trauma I had gone through. I stumbled towards the bed, needing to sit down and let everything settle in without passing out. As my rear hit the mattress, however, I let a small, pleasured sigh. Holy crap, this is a comfy mattress! I felt myself fall back, and my entire body simply melted into the softness beneath my body. It was like I was sleeping on a cloud. Was that possible? Demon magic may have been something to do with it. but I was certain that I was drifting into an almost blissful sleep. Don't know why I'm yawning now, but just laying on the blankets and mattress. Not caring that I was still in my dress, I closed my eyes and drifted to sleep. I needed rest, since Diana wouldn't be available for a while anyway. Darkness surrounded my mind, my dreams remaining silent and hushed in the cool and calm black. No nightmares appeared and no sounds were made. I was simply resting, and that was all my body needed. I let my thoughts wander in my subconscious, thinking about what was going to happen now. What will the boys do when they realize I'm gone? What will he do? I imagined him finding a way through the demon world and pulling me back to where I belonged, wrapping me in his arms and swearing never to let me go. I would be relieved and we would be married just as we planned. How unrealistic was that? I had to be realistic right now. I was stuck, and the only one who seemed to be able to send me back was Diana and her companions, whoever they were. Yeah, I should really have introduced myself in hindsight. I had to trust them, whether I liked it or not. Eventually, I did rise from my sleep, somehow fully refreshed and calm. How could that have been? I'm gonna guess magic.
Did you have a good rest?
Ah! Hey, you. I turned my head to see Diana at the door, arms crossed and leaning against the door's archway. She had a look of concern and pure curiosity on her face as she awaited my answer. Are you okay? You kind of fainted on me. Diana stared at me, slightly shocked. Did she not expect me to ask?
Huh. Well, yes, I'm fine now that I've had proper rest.
Uh-huh. Rest. Quotation marks. That's good. Smirk. Diana shook her head and stepped into the room, closing the door behind her.
So we need to find another way to get you back to the human world.
Uh-huh.
It won't be easy, but I believe it can be done by tonight, at the latest.
Cool, thanks. Tonight? Really? Diana nodding crossed her arms again, leaning on one hip.
It will take time to get our shadow agents to gather the necessary supplies. But they are not hard to obtain, being that we're in a position of power. You must be lucky.
Very lucky. Except for, the whole getting kidnapped thing. What do you mean? Hello, text? Or box covering? Never mind. Diana sighed before casting a short spell under her breath. In front of me appeared a floating map, almost like a hologram. It showed an entire world with mountains, plains, and forests, and it was all surrounded by sea and water. Diana pointed at a mark that had been purple banner at its tip. It was marked in the center of some mountain and forest area. It was also the very center of the map.
That is where we are currently, the center of the abyssal plains.
Cool. Diana then ran her finger in a circle around the marker, showing a perimeter around it.
Everything we need for the spell is within this area. It will just take time to gather the materials and prepare it.
Okay, good to know, thank you. I nodded, understanding the situation. I was going to hopefully be able to go home tonight, which was better than not going home at all. So, what should I do until then?
My suggestion? Stay in this room. I can mark this room as off-limits so that no demon may enter that would confuse you for an intruder and kill you.
Good to know. I kinda like living. I gulped. I did not want to die. Not here, anyway. As Diana made the magical map disappear, she shrugged.
However, I cannot stop you from whatever you wish to do. Just don't leave the castle.
Leave the castle. Gotcha. First plan. I nodded as she turned to leave. As she stepped out, Diana looked back to me with a reassuring look.
We'll get you back to the human world. I promise you that.
Okay. Thank you. Finally, she left me alone in the room. I let out a small sigh and looked up at the ceiling. I had to wait until tonight to actually do anything? What was I going to do? I don't know, read, enjoy the posh room you're given. Part of me agreed with Diana's suggestion, wanting to stay in the room and be safe in case the guards didn't know who I was and would kill me on sight. My curiosity, however, wouldn't leave me alone and wanted me to explore the castle. I was handed an opportunity to explore a castle in the demon world, and part of me did not want it to go to waste. True. Very true. I was torn on what to do. Well, if Diana posted anyone on her door, hopefully she introduced them and just asked, "Hey, I would like a tour." I guess that was not an option. Oh well. I'm gonna go explore. Bye. They might only kill me. There was no way I was letting this chance pass me by. I stood and walked towards the door, opening it a crack and looking around. There was no one in the hall, but there were 2 directions to go. Which way? I'ma go right. Yes. I went with right. I closed the door behind me as I exited my room and began to make my way down the right corridor. Everything was definitely medieval style. It'd be nice to see it. And I felt a bit small in the hall. Wait, I'm a kid in the hall? But yes. That was in I'll say mid to late 90s sketch show if you're not aware of the reference. Check them out, they were really funny. It was like I was in a fairy tale, walking around in a wedding dress. It almost felt dreamlike. The passage seemed long, decorated with wall candles, paintings, and random curtains and flowers. It was mystical to see, and I smiled. It would be nice to see it too and smile. As I approached another fork in the hall, however, I sighed. Really? How does one find their way around? They probably know where they're going. I looked back, knowing I hadn't walked far from my room. I could turn back. Yet. You know what? Let's just keep going right. At least this way I'm not going to get lost. As I headed right anyway, might as well do it again. I turned right and headed down the hall, greeted by more fantastical decor. My journey down the hall led me to a set of stairs which led to a door to the outside. I remember Diana's warning, but I was curious. I slowly approached the door and opened it, peeking outside to see what it held.
Soldiers!
Ah, that guy! I jumped at the sound of the commander's voice, feeling the chill that ran through me when I first encountered the Demon Lord in the Incubus vision. The Demon Lord wasn't here, was he? Nope, just this guy. I read. I peeked past the door once again to see the large, muscular man whom I had met when I fell into the world, barking orders at a large group of soldiers. They were all attentive and obedient towards each command he shouted. I don't blame them.
You all performed well in holding the Demon Lord off. But if we want to win this war, then you will need to become much stronger. We want to win, yes?
Woo! Hey.
Yes, Commander. Good. Then pair up and fight like you were fighting the Bastard Lord himself. Keep going until I give you clearance to stop.
Okay. Good luck with that, boys. On his orders, the soldier turned either left or right and began to spar, as if they were seriously battling each other. It was almost scary to watch, swords clanging violently and shields beating against steel.
Human!
Hi. How are you? I felt my fear take over as he called out my race, making me stand up straight as the door swung fully open on its own. I wasn't able to hide anymore. Run away!
Front and center!
Run away! On its own, my body began to walk towards the muscled ogre man, and soon I was standing in front of the center with the sparring clashing behind me.
Do you have jurisdiction to leave your room, human?
Maybe? Yes? I felt my answer force itself out, as if I had no control over myself. Why was this happening? I looked at the ogre man and noticed his golden eyes burning into my gaze. Was he using his powers on me? Oh, sir, we get words about that if you are. The man crossed his arms and looked at my form.
Why are you here then?
I was curious. See? And on that note, I'm going to cut the video here before we go too long. Until next, Tack, we could seal up Hiddo.